Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with one of Dave's faves, a record that I have loved for so long and that I just really have to share with you. Now, it involves classical guitar. Now, I'm not probably the only person who has a certain issue with classical guitar because everybody plays the same five pieces over and over and over. And more to the point, the guitar is such a limited instrument, especially playing complex music. I mean, really, basically, the guitar is made for accompaniment, right? It was either going to be in the earlier period when it was playing art music, as it were. It was going to be part of a continuo, or it was simply accompanying a singer in songs, which is what guitars largely do now. But as a solo instrument, especially backed by like a huge symphony orchestra, it's hopelessly outgunned. And so it needs to be amplified, or we need to do something very clever with the orchestration to make it audible at all. It's a problematic instrument, and it's also expressively somewhat problematic because it has no sustained tones. It can't play legato. It can't really play counterpoint easily, although today's virtuosos could do just about anything, and they can play counterpoint quite impressively quite often. But it has a very limited dynamic range. Its expressive potential, let's say, is not that of the violin or other similarly pitched instruments. So in order for the guitar to be successful, it has to be written for with extreme sophistication and knowledge of the capabilities of the instrument and the people who play it. And I am happy to say there are some composers out there who are doing just that and who are writing original music as well as transcriptions, but who are transcribing the way transcriptions ought to be done to make them sound wonderful on the guitar. And these composers really deserve, I think, a lot of credit for the fabulous work they're doing in writing not just great guitar music, but great music generally. And nobody is doing this better than Leo Brouwer, Cuban composer Leo Brouwer, who has written a batch of guitar concertos and a slew of solo guitar music. Most famously, I think, the Black Decameron, which, El Decameron Negro, which is, I think, probably his most famous solo guitar piece. But the bottom line is, Brouwer is a great composer who happens to write primarily for the guitar. And on this disc, on Ondine, which I'm holding up here, played by the Finnish guitarist Timo Korhonen. See, I got the accent on the first syllable. There you go. We have a collection of music for guitar and orchestra, the likes of which I had never heard until this happened, and really, frankly, have never heard since. It's of an excellence and a beauty and just sheer joy in listening and fun that's unparalleled. And I'm going to let me explain to you what's on it so that you get an idea of what I'm talking about. It contains, first, his fifth guitar concerto, subtitled the Helsinki, because it was written for Korhonen and played in Helsinki. It's beautiful, beautiful work, very substantial, half an hour long, in three serious, soul-satisfying movements, full of brilliant guitar music, obviously, but also glorious orchestral textures. It's abundantly scored for a full-size orchestra, but you never sense that the guitar is only there for the ride. It's a true concerto with the guitar and the orchestra both willing participants in the discourse that's happening between them. It's an absolutely splendid piece. Next, we have two sets of transcriptions that are beyond marvelous. The first is, it's on here, is Brouwer's version of Albania's Iberia suite. Three pieces. The Evocacion, the first piece, El Puerto, and El Albaicin, those three. They make a perfect, delightful little suite. I'm going to play the Evocacion, just the opening of it, so you get an idea of just how wonderfully this thing sounds on the guitar. I mean, doesn't it sound like it was made for the guitar? That's the whole point. But best of all, we have From Yesterday to Penny Lane. Yes, Beatles transcriptions. Oh, what could be better than that? Really? I'm not kidding. It's a suite that includes She's Leaving Home, A Ticket to Ride, Here, There, and Everywhere, Yesterday, Got to Get You Into My Life, Eleanor Rigby. You gotta have Eleanor Rigby, right? And then, of course, Penny Lane. Oh, it sounds fantastic. I'd love to just sit here and listen to the whole thing with you and play them for you, except they're Beatles tunes, and I am very careful when it comes to Beatles tunes. I can't infringe the copyright on the tunes. But you must simply get this recording on Ondine. Here it is. Catalog information is underneath this video in the little description thing so that you can find it, and you owe it to yourself to get to know the music of Leo Brouwer generally, but this disc in particular. If you have ever hesitated in considering the pairing of guitar and orchestra, then this is the disc that's going to change your mind. Trust me, folks, it is just one more reason to keep on listening. Thank you and enjoy.